Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Happy Sabbath. For you all out there listening out there, Most High in Christ bless you all. Stay strong in the Lord. All right, today's class is a continuation from last week, and it might be in a three-part, the way it looked like it's going, entitled Evict the Vagabonds. All right? I forgot the second part of it, but the first part is Evict the Vagabonds. So we left off last week. We're in the book of Deuteronomy, 22nd chapter, and I think we got as far as, bear with me one second, verse 9. So let's do a little recap real quick so we understand, if time permits. Let's see. Okay, Deuteronomy 22. We normally read verse 5. Read that for me real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
So the reason why I started at this verse is because typically this is a scripture we pull when we're in camp or on the streets. It's a very common scripture. But what I was going through in the spirit was explaining that the chapter has one theme. Even though you'll read different situations or scenarios here, it's one common theme, and it's going to lead back to the unifying and the building of a nation, all right? As wise master builders, our job is to gather together in one the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what God has called us to do. We pray for laborers to come into this harvest, that this harvest might be plentiful, that we can bring forth the 12 tribes of Israel back in rulership. Now, the ones that are not to make it, the 2/3, God will sift them out in his time. But our jobs is to bring them in, get their minds right, and then let God deal with who he doesn't want, all right? So, okay. So in the chapter, when you read verses 1, it speaks about, and I really don't want to read through it, but 1, 2, 3, and 4 is talking about how you deal with your brother if he loses something. In this case, it was an ox. If you knew your neighbor or not, you would hold it for him, and you would return it to him. If you saw his animal fall by the way, that you would help him to retrieve it or help him out of a situation, even if he was the enemy of thy people, all right? Meaning of your own people. And all this is to do is to foster a relationship of unity, endeavoring to keep the unity as we read about it in the book of Ephesians. All right, so the morality or the right thing to do is to know that you find something that belongs to someone and you make sure that you hold it for safekeeping, return. That type of mentality helps foster bringing a nation together. That's why when you read in Deuteronomy 4, give me that real quick. I don't know, Deuteronomy 4, a wise and understanding people, that Deuteronomy 4 and 6 like that, or 6 and 4, I don't recall it, but it's someplace around there. Who has it?
I have a bishop.
What is it, Deuteronomy 4?
4 and 6.
Okay, that's it. Read it. Let me go there with you. Hold on. Deuteronomy 4. Let's see if that's the verse. Yeah, start with verse 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5.
No, read verse 1, then jump on. Wow, read 1, 2. Then jump to verse 4.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 1. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments, which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live, and go in and possess the land, which the Lord God of your fathers giveth you.
So he says, do these judgments that I teach you, for to do them that ye may live. When it says live, it means literally live, but it means live that you leave a generation of wisdom that you all can continue dwelling in the land. Remember, our decision we made, and I believe is in the same chapter, chapter 4, I want to say verse 40. Just jump to verse 40 real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 40. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth.
That's the live. Read on.
which the Lord thy God giveth thee forever.
So you keep these commandments that it can profit you and profit your children. Do you know something today? You know something today? That's what we're doing today. We are rewriting the errors that we did of the people. We're raising our children in the laws that when we leave this earth, they can continue on in building back of the nation. You understand? We don't live just for ourselves, but we live for the generations, and it's your responsibility, you young ones, to make sure you continue on in the keeping of the commandments, that you, in your time, could teach your children, and we can eventually take back this earth. Or you can stay here in San Antonio forever. I don't know, Web City, whatever, pick that. So we're rewriting history. Read that verse 40 one more time again.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 40. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee and with thy children after thee.
So here we go, real quick. That you keep the commandments that it might go well with thee. So here's the flip side. If you're not keeping the commandments, it will not go well with you. Thus, we're in the slums and ghettos throughout the earth. It's not going well with us, breaking the commandments. Read on.
And with thy children after thee.
And your children after you. Read on.
And that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Lord thy God giveth thee forever.
That it might prolong thy days upon the earth, that God has given us. That goes back to 2nd Ezra, and we'll get that later. But the earth was made for our sakes. It was not made for anybody else. It was made for us to govern. And the only way to govern it properly is that you must be applying God's commandments. You cannot give this earth back to the Israelites in the state they're in right now, because many of them are African American and black and Republicans and Democrats and transgender and Generation X, LBGTY, whatever, all this. No. There must be one singular mind, and that singular mind is a mind under Christ and keeping the commandments. You give it to us today, give this earth over to us today, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to make dumb rap music that we're making. We're going to buy all the drugs and fried chicken and basketball and Jordans. We wouldn't even know what to do with it if we got it. We're not skilled. And neither does the other nations. They can never run this earth properly because it was never given to them. There's one key component. He said, keep these commandments. So let's go back to 4 and 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 1. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments, which I teach you.
Here's one. If you see your brother's ox fall by the way, don't hide yourself from it. Help him get it out. If he lose it, and if you know him or if you don't know him, you hold it so when he comes looking for it, you can return it back to him. That's a statute that he told us how to deal honorably with one another. Read on.
For to do them, that ye may live, and go in and possess the land, which the Lord God of your fathers giveth you.
That you might go in and possess the land that God gave you. So to possess the land and to hold on to the possession of the land and to pass it down to your children, the laws of God must be implicated, must be applied, must be applied. Now here's something. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. Now let's read on. I'll come back to it in a second. Read on.
Verse 2. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you.
He said, don't add. God said, don't add to his words or take. Pork is okay today because it's raised humanely. It eats the right thing. God said you can't eat it. We as a people, we hate, I'm telling you, us people, we hate, the Israelites, hate to keep God's laws. We don't want to listen. We got our own mind. God said, Genesis.
And daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men.
The sons of God is referring to us. We are the sons of God. We saw the what?
Saw the daughters of men.
The daughters of men are the other nations. All right? We saw the daughters of these other nations. Read on.
That they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with men.
You know why he says my spirit shall not always strive with men? Because he said, you are the sons of God. Real quick, go to first St. John's chapter 1. Watch this real quick. Let's get the full understanding when he says you're the sons of God. Watch this. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 12.
John, chapter 1, verse 12.
That is a gift from God. When you're able to put precept upon precept where they make sense. When somebody asks you a question, you don't go, oh, God works in mysterious ways. Jesus had no you after my own image. Go back to Genesis. Watch this. God said, I made you after my own image. He said, when I fashioned it and I made you just like me. And guess what? I gave you a woman, meet for you, right for you. And you decided you wanted a woman of another nation. God said what? Genesis chapter 6, verse 3.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man.
You know what strive with man mean? He said, I can't keep on going back and forth with you. I chose you. I made you after my image. I gave you a woman from your rib for you, right for you, and you go, but what about them? God said, but no, I chose you. I made you a son of God. But what about what they do? Oh gosh, man. You know what? I gotta just, I can't keep on going back and forth with you. You guys gotta die. You just gotta die. Today you'll say, listen, sisters, you can't wear pants. But that's no. That was back then. Today things are different. No, God said you can't. His law stands forever. Well, these are women pants. There's not feminine pants. No. You know what? You just got to die. God made me like this. I don't know, but I just grew up and I'm gay and I just like men. God didn't make you like that. Well, you can't tell me how I'm telling you that's not what God did. God said, you just got to die. You just got to die. Why? Because we are adverse to God's laws. We'll find excuse to always break God's laws. You can't eat pork. What do you mean? Swine doesn't necessarily mean that's the Webster definition of swine is pork, but we don't know that's what the ancient time was. God said you can't get it. But no, everything God made is good. Nothing, oh gosh, forget it. You just got to die in your sins. We're wise to do evil. We do not. How can a people like that govern the earth? Let me ask you, it's just simple. You men that are married in your household, how can you govern your household if your wife and your children are always gainsaying you? I said, go left. Why? We got to go left. I don't understand. Just go. I always use that example. Just go left. Shut up and just go left. But I don't understand. Who said you had to understand? You just got to do. You cannot govern something when God said, you know what? You guys go into captivity. And guess what? You didn't want to serve me, but I got somebody you can serve right now. You're going to serve him. I chose you, but you don't know what to say. You don't want to listen. I don't know. Okay, I got something for you. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 4. Right? That's where we was at?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Verse 6.
I don't remember where we were at, but whatever. No, we read, verse 4. Deuteronomy 4 and 4.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 4. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day.
But ye who cleaved unto God, you're alive, every one of you this day. So we can pretty much deduce by what God is saying. You keep His commandments. When you go into land, possess it. You and your children will live forever. And live forever means you're generational. I said this last week, I recall, that when the nations came and conquered the Americas, or the Western Hemisphere, right? That's the Western Hemisphere. Western Hemisphere. When they came, do you know Christopher Columbus, Cortez, Washington, who else? Jefferson. Do you know they were establishing something for their children's children for today? That in their time period, they were not going to fully reap or see the benefits of what they were executing. But today, their children, the little Rodriguez and Cortez and them that's living over there in Puerto Rico and Spain, that's running the place, the Jeffersons and the Washingtons and the Reagans and the Bushes and the Rothschilds, all they set up was for their children today. You see, with us as people, we are short-minded people. Not us, because we understand that what we're doing now is not for us to fully grasp it. It's to set in place a system, and it begins with the laws of God in our children's mind. So what we're doing is preparing them that when they have children, they instruct them. And one day, this whole thing turns upside down. Or, let me help you out. You can continue being niggas and spics and do twerk videos on TikTok and stay in San Antonio. Let's read on.
Verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
He says you got to keep these commandments, these statutes and judgments, deal right with each other in the land whither you go possess it. Read on.
Keep therefore and do them.
You better keep and apply these laws if you want to rule the earth. If we want to evict these vagabonds, we must start applying these commandments. God got to see us rehearsing these righteous acts and say, okay, listen, they shall know you're my people if you love one another. You know how to deal with each other. Read on.
For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
Look, he says those commandments is your wisdom in the sight of the nations. Here, I'm going to give it to you again to color the picture for you men out there and for you sisters. Do you see when we enter into these cities with 1,000 men, 5,000 men, you know what it is to move that many men orderly and decently? Do you know the nations are amazed at us? You know, our own people like, damn, look at all those men moving together. They're in unison. Ain't nobody rolling blunts. Ain't nobody playing the baby. Damn, they're in order. They ain't fighting. Something different about them. All people be amazed looking at us. And all we doing is walking. That's how you know how bad we are. All people are so messed up in their mind, like, how they get all them niggas to walk together so quietly and not in all kind of, these niggas is brainwashed. You're absolutely right. Our brains are washed. You're right. We're washed from this filth. You know what's doing that? You know what's making us walk like that? God's commandments, structure and order, the Most High, not the author of confusion. That's the simple stuff, and they're amazed by that. That's beginning to practice to knowing how to rule this earth. There must be structure and order. Esau is about to implode on himself. They're all over the place. Republicans fighting Democrats, storming the U.S. When I see that, my heart is just warmed. I'm like, wow. You had a Edomite had to shoot an Edomite in the neck because they stormed the building. God bless America. I love it. I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. A kingdom divided itself cannot stand. It's imploding. And while it's imploding, guess what's happening to us? We're setting stuff in order. Oof, just warms me. I feel so warm on the inside. Okay, verse 6.
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who have God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for?
As the Lord our God is in all things, in all wisdom, God is in it. So the nations are looking at us. I'm going to go back to Deuteronomy 22 and 5. They're like, man, look how they're dealing. That man found his brother's ox, and he don't even know him, and he's holding it, and he's taking care of it, and it's healthy, and he returns it. Esau ain't doing that. Damn. That brother see his brother's animal on the side of the road, and he's helping him up. Them two don't really get along, but he's still dealing right with his neighbor. Wow. You know when you're moving like that? Let's go to Deuteronomy 22 real quick. Watch this. I'm just going to read this part. I need to get to the rest of it because I'm going to get stuck here. 22 and 4. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 4. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again.
Right. You can't hide yourself. Meaning you know your brother's ox fell by the way, and you know you have the strength to help him. God said you want to be considered a wise and understanding people, know how to deal. Because the nation's going to know if they deal like that with each other, we can't defeat them. They're unified. They understand the greater picture, the bigger picture. They understand that if a man is wearing a dress and a woman's wearing pants, it's a good possibility they're not going to procreate. That was a strange thing. For a woman to wear pants, back when a woman first started putting on pants in America, they were lesbians. I hope you understand that. But because of ungodly custom grown strong, it's kept as law like it's no big deal. But the vibration behind a man in a dress is what? He like Rod. You don't build a nation like that. All right? Okay, so I don't want to go through all this. Let's get down. So when you get a chance, read the rest of the chapter. I kind of try to paint the picture that it's all about the building of a nation back, and that's the way we get rid of these other nations ruling over us, these vagabonds. So let's pick up in Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 9.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown, and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled.
So there's two different seeds here. Watch this. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds. We was explaining that last week of the intermingle of seeds, where you had DNA from salmon intermingled with tomatoes and oranges. It says you were not supposed to do that, right? Many of the fruits we eat today are defiled hybrids. Now, mind you, I'm not telling you, I know in this captivity, we have to serve our enemies for the wants of all things. That's the reason why we're supposed to pray over everything we eat, asking God to deliver us, because this food is defiled. But the point I'm trying to get to is that Esau and these other nations have begun to defile the fruits of the land, and because of that, it says, "Thou shalt not sow thy seed, thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed, which is your sperm, which thou hast sown, you sow that seed in your wife, and the fruit of the vineyard be defiled." So what is that trying to tell you? That these fruits that we're eating, the foods that we're eating are defiled, and they can defile you. That's why people with cancer today, why is everybody getting cancer? Back in the days, in my time, the only people who had cancer was people that was smoking cigarettes, or if you was an Edomite, you got skin cancer. A lot of people wasn't getting cancer like that. That wasn't a prevalent thing. The only thing was high blood pressure and diabetes. Cancer was an Edomite disease. Now everybody got it. The foods are defiled that we're taking in. It is disrupting our DNA structure in our bodies. And the only thing to ward that off is what? Keeping God's commandments. That's why it says, "He that sinneth, let him fall into the hand of a physician." Now, I'm not saying every time somebody gets sick is because they're sinning. All I'm saying to you, that God said if you're sinning, there's a good chance you can get sick behind it. All right? So, why? My thought, this is how I think. Why is it that you cannot sow your vineyard with diverse seeds? This is your answer. Genesis chapter 1. Genesis 1. And I want to read verse 29.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
You know.
And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so.
And God said, it was so. Read on.
And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good.
No, it was all right.
It was very good.
No, it was good.
It was very good.
God said everything I made was very good. I mean, he would be the one to say it because he's the one that made it, right? So he would know what's very good. Not in this world. You know what, God? I know you made that, but I think we could do better. So we're going to splice. God said, damn it. I said it was very good. You didn't hear me the first time when I said it? It was very good. Read on.
Verse 31.
No, finish that verse. Read it. Read the whole verse again.
And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. And God saw everything that he had made. And behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
So God looked at all the creations he made, and he said, when he's finished, he said, everything I made perfect. It was very good. I'm pleased with what I did. It's good. I don't need to check in with nobody because I made everybody. I made everything. Who am I to check in with? Nobody. And here come these damn devils. Nah, I don't know about that. God's like, you dang on it. And then here come Israel right behind them. Oh, what they doing? God said, stupid, I just chose you. Hell, you worry about what they doing. Don't worry about, oh, but we want, oh gosh, man, my spirit can't strive with you people. Y'all got to die. Y'all got to die. But you can understand. Listen, try to wrap your mind around Esau and these other nations. They don't got a God. So what you expect from them? They don't know no better. Us, who the laws was given to, we got God, and then we want that. Man, only smitten with madness, you're a lunatic. You want to join into them? These base people, these forgers of lies, this is what you choose? This? God said, man, I'm going to punish you. Them same one is going to be the same one to punish you. I'm going to fix you. Hey, go join with them. So let's watch this. God said everything he made. I want you to read verse 29 again.
Verse 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
So he said, I gave you every one of these seeds, and it was good. So when you go back to Deuteronomy 22, verse 9, now it should make sense. Read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds.
Stop. Why shouldn't you sow your vineyard with diverse seeds? Because God said, everything I made bear fruit, and it was good. You don't need to fix it. Who gave you a bright idea? I didn't tell you to do anything. He said, now, if you do that, guess what? The seed that you sow is going to be defiled. The seed that you personally sow. Why? Because you're going to ingest that. Because the seed I gave you was for meat. It was for your health. And you went and you want to go change it around. Now, we can't control that Esau's changing around, but he did tell us, pray over it. Go back, and let me explain about the food being defiled. Go to, Deuteronomy, go to Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13.
Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them.
He said, when we're amongst the Gentiles, we're going to eat all defiled bread. All food is going to be defiled while we're amongst them. You think Esau care about, or these other nations, I should say, care about mixing a seed? No. You think they care about letting the land rest on the seventh year? No. God said, I put a spirit in my creations when I did it. I put my wisdom in everything I created. And on the seventh day, I rested. I said, okay, I look back and say everything I made is good. And I want you to rest on the seventh day. I want the land to rest on the seventh year. That's what my wishes are. And Esau and these other nations can care less. And God said, but I didn't make you like that. I made you this. If you want this earth to run properly, do it the way I said to do it. What they read in Deuteronomy 4, he said, don't add or take away from nothing. Just do what I said. Follow instruction. We got a problem with following simple instruction. I chose you to be a special people unto me. Serve me in the land you're going to go possess. What do we go do? Oh, man, look what these other nations are doing. God said, gosh, I parted the sea for you. I brought you through here. I gave you the earth. I did all these things. And you still, boy, I got a ship for you to go on. And I got some jewelry for you to wear. And they're going to carry you far away, and you're going to go serve. And while you're there, you're going to bethink me, and the land with you will go carry captive. You're going to repent. I'm going to break you down. You're going to get everything you think you want. Go over there. Serve your enemies. You're going to find out. All right, so what do we leave off? Defiled bread. Back to Deuteronomy 22.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown, and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled.
Now watch this. Go to, hold this, go to Leviticus 19. Watch how it's read here. 19, verse 19.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle...
Watch this. Okay, go read it. I'm sorry.
You shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingle of linen and woolen come upon thee.
Now watch this. I want you to read verse 1 and 2.
Leviticus 19, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy.
So he says, ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. I want you to look up the word holy. Give me the definition. Watch this. IT. Okay, good. It says, speak unto the congregation of children of Israel, and say unto them, ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Watch this. Definition, holy. Hit that drop down. Translations and more definitions. Scroll down, scroll. Okay, right there. Go back up. It comes from the word whole. So when he says you are whole or holy, what is he trying to say? Look at the word whole. Give me the synonym to whole. Okay, here you go right there. You are entire, complete, full. So when he says you are whole or holy, what is he saying? Anybody? Brothers? Get. You're perfect. He said, I made you in my image, right? So I made you holy. I made you perfect. Because you made after me. You're the sons of God. And to you was given power to rule this earth. You're made perfect. So if something is perfect, do you need to change it? So then why are you dudes taking estrogen and growing breast? Why are you women becoming men? If you holy, oh, you're saying God didn't make you right. Something's wrong. Sure, let's see. So if that's the case, jump to verse 19 now.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. You shall keep my statutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. So if I'm lost my train. So if you're made perfect, entire, right, and everything is right, verse 17.
Verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Look what it says about if you made right, then you shouldn't hate your brother in your heart. You want to rule a nation, he's giving the blueprint right here. Don't have hatred towards your brother. Jump on down to verse 18.
Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Don't you see how Deuteronomy 22 have similar things about morality, how to deal? If you made perfect, then you shouldn't hate. You shouldn't avenge your brother. Jump into verse 16.
Verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people.
All these things are contrary to building back a nation. If you're made holy, I want you to read verse 11.
Verse 11. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another.
Verse 13.
Verse 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him, the wages of him that is hired.
Verse 2.
Verse 2. Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy.
I mean, you are perfect and supposed to deal perfectly with each other. So now what does that have to do with verse 19?
Verse 19. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come together.
So let's start dealing with this now. You shall keep my statutes. You shall not let your cattle gender with diverse kind. All right. Give me link. 1. Link number 1. I want you guys to check this out. Link 1. Audio. And bring it back.
And the results were breathtaking.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
As you
Bring it
can
back.
see
Bring it
here,
back.
we have these small experiments are pet rabbit, where we took them to our laboratory and quickly spliced them together.
So he spliced the
so we could
DNA of a
fertilize
dog and a
eggs.
rabbit.
After letting the eggs sit in the incubators for many months, they began to hatch, and the results were breathtaking. As you can see here, we have these small white dogs, but they look like bunnies. They are half bunnies. They're very jumpy and fun and happy. Should we call them bogs or dunnies? This experiment started off
All right,
with
stop
collecting
it.
DNA from our pet.
That's an abomination. Go to link 2. That's an abomination. Yeah, I'm telling you something. God said, he said everything I made was very good.
With DNA from our pet pit bull in our home laboratory.
Okay, let's go back. This is, go back. This is a pit bull and a baby hippo. Yo,
Started off by taking DNA.
Esau is Frankenstein.
We quickly fertilized eggs, and as you can see, they're quite large. We wanted to show you the egg's heart beating. As you can see here, it is alive. After about 5 months, the egg began to hatch, and the world's first hippo pit bull was born. But what it looked like when it grew up will blow your mind. The world's first hippo pit bull is one of the wrinkliest dogs you'll ever see, but it's so cute and friendly. We only made one of them, and so we're keeping him as our own pet. His name's Wrinkles. Follow my channel to see more amazing animal creations.
So him and his wife,
These
people they're scientists, and they take all manner of stuff.
Experiment started off by taking...
They take all manner of stuff. God said everything he made is good, very good. And then he rested, and here come this witch doctor. And all people today will be clueless and see nothing wrong with it. That's why he said, read that verse again, verse 19.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. You shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed.
So it says, you should not let your cattle gender with diverse kind. So what is he trying to tell you? Keep your cattle separate. Don't bring them together. Don't allow a horse and a donkey and an ass together, because you're going to get a mule. Keep them apart. What were they doing? They would allow it. But you know what? That spirit, because God made everything in his order. That spirit is even with man. Keep you separate from the nations. We're not supposed to intermingle with them like that. Same thing. There's a structure and order in everything God does. If he says, I made everything and it's good, then there's no need to intermingle the kind. Wasn't they trying to do that with the Tower of Babel? Bring everybody together. And God smashed it. America, the great melting pot. Melting nations together. God is going to smash that. It wasn't never meant like that. Why? Because we are a set apart people. We're not like anybody else. But we want to be with everybody else. Well, you're going to die with them. Plain and simple. To build back up his kingdom, it has to be structure and order. So let's read that verse one more time.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. You shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee.
Hold that. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 13. I just want verse 1.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 13, verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of God, and cannot out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster.
Not by considering his works, they refuse to acknowledge the workmaster. People ignorant of God cannot see the beauty and wisdom in everything God made. So what do? They pervert and change the things that God has made. They add to and they took away. Do you understand? These animals on this earth are becoming extinct. They're making new kinds, new type of foods and fruits and all kind of stuff that God did not ordain. There's only one way to fix this, is to purge it. God is going to purge this earth. And all those that are joined to them. God made you after his image, and you decide you're going to cut and tuck and grow some breast. Man, listen. So let's go back to Leviticus 19. Leviticus 19, I want to read the same verse again. Let's deal with the sow thy seed with mingled seed.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed.
And we went through that last week about, I don't want to go through it again, but we went through that with the salmon and the orange and the tomatoes and all kind of oranges today intermingle, fruit with no seeds. All that stuff is defiled. Defiled. Now watch this. Read on.
Neither shall a garment mingle of linen and woolen come upon thee.
It says, neither a garment of linen and woolen come upon thee. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 22. I know we come across this a lot, and a lot of people don't seem to understand the premise of what it's saying. I want you to read that in Deuteronomy 22 and verse 11.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 11. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together.
Okay. Who understands what wool and linen is? Who knows? And why does he want us to sew it? Why doesn't he want us to sew it together? Or mingle it, I should say. Mingle it together.
Hey, shalom, Bishop Most High Christ bless, sir. So wool and linen, they come from the earth. So the wool and the linen, you can...
Where does linen come from?
Linen comes from the earth as well.
Okay, where does wool come from?
The earth as well.
Okay, somebody help him out.
Nope.
You from the South? Where you from?
Mississippi.
Come on, shame on you, boy. You ain't no country. You from the city. You must be from Philly. No, man, please. You from the city. You ain't no country boy. I'll tell you, this generation, boy. Even I know that, and I'm from the city. Nah, sit down. We don't ask no more. You tell me, well, he got to steer all you guys wrong. Let me get a country boy. You from the country?
No, sir.
Where you from? Where you from?
I'm from Germany.
Oh, snap. Okay, you threw me off. Judah?
Yes, sir.
All right, so help him out.
Wool comes from sheep.
Thank you. This guy from Germany will tell you that. They got sheep out in Germany, too. All right. You speak German?
A little bit,
Okay.
2 words.
Okay. All right, so here we go. Very good. Wool comes from sheep, and linen comes from what? Anybody know? I know the earth, but what? Anybody know? Nobody? Go ahead, Noah. Tell him. Hey, he's a country boy.
Shalom, Bishop. I might be wrong, but mouth.
No, not moth. No, that's not. No. Anybody know? Look up linen. Jacob, you know?
Sheep.
No, that's wool come from sheep. I'm talking about linen. Look up linen. Where does it come from? It woven from flax. Where's flax? Just show me flax. Flax is, I don't want to tell him. Just let him see it. Okay, there you go. That's flax, all right? It's a plant, all right? So now let me ask you a question now that you say that. So type in linseed, Linseed. That's right? Linseed. There you go. Yeah, that's it. Okay. It's a flax plant. That's where it comes. That's where linen comes out of, right? All right, and you get linseed oil from it. So here we go. So it says, you are not to mingle wool and linen, right? That's what it said? Yeah, woolen and linen together. I want some of you to help me understand why does it say it. Remember I told you I want the wisdom behind it. Help me understand. Come on.
Shalom. I guess it's all about our seed. Because if you have a kid, if you mix the seed, that it's going to come out a different. It's not.
What? Young man? Yeah, right here. This young man right here.
Well, with fruit, and it being hybrids, when you make linen, it comes from flax. That's a plant, and a sheep has wool. A sheep's an animal.
Very good. There we go. There you go. You got it. You hit it. He does not want you to take the wool from an animal and interlock it with a plant. It's not order. Everything made in its own kind. Everything made in its own kind. Very good. Let's explain that woven together, what it means by that. Go to Leviticus 13. You're taking a byproduct from an animal and intermingling it with a plant. He doesn't want that. The Most High God does not want that. Let's go to Leviticus 13, verse 47.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 47. The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it be in the warp or woof or linen, or of woolen, whether in a skin or in anything made of skin, and if the plague be greenish or reddish.
Stop right there. So what I want was the point was in verse 48. Whether it be in warp or woof of linen. Can you pull up for me real quick the definition of warped or woof? I think I gave the definition up there. I may give it to you. Okay. The word warped, it means in weave, arrange, like yarn, sew, as for to form the warp of a piece of cloth. Okay? Now, give me woof. I may not have given you that one. And when you type in wolf, type in, it might tell you fabric. Because if you say wolf, it's going to think it's a dog. Okay. Zoom in a little bit for me, please. Okay, here's the point. The essential foundation or base of any structure or organization from weaving in which the warp, the threads that run lengthwise, and the woof, which thread runs across. So here, this is how it works. Warp and woof. That's what it means. So what he's saying is that you're not supposed to take the wool from an animal and interlock it with the linen from the ground. Two different spirits, two different things. God said don't do that. So when we read it, it doesn't mean that you can't have on a linen top and have on a wool jacket. It's what interlocking of fabric from an animal and a plant. No, the Most High is a God of structure and order. Now let's go back to Leviticus 13. Verse, I don't want to read the whole thing. Jump on down to verse 52.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 52. He shall therefore burn that garment, whether warp or woof, in woolen or in linen, or anything of skin, wherein the plague is. For it is a fretting leprosy. It shall be burnt in the fire.
Now jump into verse 47 again.
Verse 47. The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it be in the warp or woof or linen or of woolen, whether in a skin or in anything made of skin. And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the skin, either in the warp or in the woof or in anything of skin.
Now stop. So now it's telling you, if it's found, if leprosy, look at the definition of leprosy. Okay. If leprosy is found in the garment, it affects your skin. What is leprosy? Anybody know what leprosy is? Leprosy, a contagious disease that affects the skin. Keep on going down. Keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on. Okay, go back to the top. Type in what is leprosy. That's right there. Okay, it's an infection, a slow-growing bacteria. That's what leprosy is, a slow-growing bacteria. So The Lord is saying, don't intermingle them. Leprosy is a slow-growing bacteria. Bacteria, look up the word bacteria now. Watch this. I just want bacteria. A member of a large group of uncellular microorganisms which have cell walls but lack the, I'm not sure what that word is, and an organized nucleus, including some that can cause diseases. So bacteria can be found in the flesh of animals. So when you intermingle the wool that came from an animal with the linen, a bacteria can grow, and it's against your skin, and it causes leprosy. All right? So the Most High is showing us that he has his reasons and his rhymes why he wants things done a certain way, and here come man, he wants to do different. Back to Deuteronomy chapter 22. Real quick, I didn't read this. I want to read in verse 13. I forgot this point. Start with verse 45.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 45. And the leper, in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean.
So it says, the leper whom is in plague, his clothes shall be rent. They're going to take off his clothes, tear it, and burn it. And it said, and his head bare. They're going to shave it so it doesn't, so the bacterium has no place to lodge itself. It says, bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip and cry, unclean, unclean. What is the covering on his upper lip? Khalil. Type in how is leprosy spread. Covering on his upper lip, Khalil. Yes, you do. Okay, watch this. It says if you have leprosy, look, Khalil. It says if you have leprosy, you got to take off your clothes, rent it, burn it, cut off your hair, and a covering on his upper lip. And a covering on his upper lip. A covering. Okay, what's a cover? Okay, something that goes over your upper lip. What's that? No. A cover. No, that's it. You got to put a covering on your upper lip. When I say the answer, you're going to be like, damn, I knew the answer. Yes, you do. We'll stand until you give me the answer. We'll be here all day. Just look, you know why you freezing? Look at me. I'm telling you, you know the answer already. It says you got to burn the clothes, get rid of the clothes. You got to get rid of hair. And then you got to put a covering over your upper lip. Don't think too deep, Khalil. You know the answer already. You got to put a covering.
So you just put your hand over your...
You got to put a covering.
Just put your hand over your mouth.
Why?
So the disease won't spread on you or get inside your mouth or anything like that?
The disease is on you already.
With a bacteria?
You stay up there. Give me how do you spread it? Damn, people give you the answer right now. Brothers trying to give you the answer. Mayday, Mayday. Give him the answer again. Give him somebody. Talk? You brothers, give him the answer. A mask.
A mask?
Oh, yeah, that's an answer. See, I knew you knew it. This guy, you put a mask over your face. How do you pass it? Give me leprosy. How you spread it. It should be right there. Right there. Did you go right there? Does it say right there? Usually occurs when a person with leprosy sneeze or cough. That's the covering over the upper lip, right? I told you knew the answer. Everybody today, and today is of all times, everybody walking around with masks on. All right, so let's go back. Deuteronomy 22.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 11. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together.
Now, mind you, wait a second. I'm going to go back to the mask stuff. So it says if you're left, you cover yourself. Why? Why? Just answer it. Right, to pass around the nation. You know, become a pandemic. That's the care for your brothers. And then you scream out, unclean, unclean. Everybody know I'm unclean. A nigga don't care. He have no care for his brothers. He know he's sick. You have people who knew they had corona and still come around. Yo, what's wrong with you? You don't have no care for your brother? Possibly somebody gets sick and die? It's contrary to what God is saying. Everybody get that? All right, so let's go back to Deuteronomy 22. I tell you, when you read these scriptures, you got to try to find a common theme in this. And when we read throughout this Bible, it's always about nation building, about us growing as a nation. It's never to destroy and take apart what God is putting together. All right, let's go back up in 22, verse 10, because we read 11, but we didn't explain 10.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 10. Thou shalt not plow with an axe, or ox, and an ass together.
Right. Thou shalt not plow with an axe and an ox and an ass together. Why not? Somebody help me out. Ari.
Shalom, Bishop, again. So you shouldn't plow with an ox and an ass together because it's two different animals. An ox is a way bigger animal than the ass, and when you plow on the ground, it will make the plowing uneven, or they'll just go.
Boy, trying to get deep. Okay, help me out. Yeah, you know what? Can I tell you something?
Yes, sir.
There is some wisdom in that prophetically and something else, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Shalom, Bishop, Brother Michael. An ox and an ass, when you have a yoke of iron, a yoke on each.
Same thing he was just saying.
Is that what he just said?
Yes, something else.
Sorry.
Oh, in the back.
Shalom, Bishop.
Shalom.
An ox is stronger than the ass.
Something else you're missing. Jacob. Okay, you're right, but I want more. Good. Razes.
We read the law earlier that you can't mix the animals, mate the two.
Tell me the difference between an ox and okay. I don't know how to ask questions. So what you said wasn't too. I'm gonna use a precept to get to that, but I don't want to say. I want to see if you guys can figure it out. Good. I get another shot. Go ahead.
It's because they're unequally yoked. Like,
Didn't you say it the first time?
I use a different word this time.
Somebody else. One more time. Right in the front. Okay, an ox and an ass. It says you cannot sow with an ox and an ass.
They're used for different purposes. For instance, an ass is used to carry stuff, and the ox is used to pull stuff.
Okay, let me help you out. I'm not going to give you the answer. The Most High is about structure and order. When
They're two different animals.
right. Okay, that's right. States it. No, okay. And he's about structure and
In order, do everything decently in order. So if you're gonna have an ox, two oxes, plow together.
But, okay,
two
right.
asses.
But go to Genesis. You're right. Hold on, I forgot my turn. Oh, wait, before I go to Genesis, go to Leviticus real quick. Leviticus. I want Leviticus 11. I want Leviticus 11, verse 47.
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 47. You want to start at verse 46?
Yeah.
Verse 46.
No,
Thi-
yeah, I don't care. Go ahead.
This is the law of the beast and of the fowl and of every living creature that moveth in the waters and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean.
Because the ox is a clean animal and the ass is an unclean animal. He said, you don't pair them together. Read on.
And between the beasts that may be eaten and the beasts that may not be eaten.
Go to Genesis 7. The Most High is a God of structure and order. 7 and 2.
Genesis chapter 7, verse 2. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female. And of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by sevens.
So when he moved the fowls, when he moved the animals together, yoked together, he moved the clean with the clean and the unclean with the unclean. So now what you were saying, Ari, you was getting deep. So you was no, you wasn't. You was getting deep. I'm gonna get the wisdom in that. Go to 2 Corinthians 6. Watch this. Remember, the Most High is not the author of confusion. He sets things in a certain order for a reason. Because you was right. You can't be unequally yoked. Watch this. Now this to my believers, but watch what it says. Read.
Which verse, 17?
14.
14. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Read on.
For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial?
With Satan. Read on.
Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?
Mm-hmm.
And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols?
Read on.
For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean things.
So God didn't want the clean things to deal with the unclean things, right? He didn't want us to deal with unclean things. He didn't want his clean animals to intermingle with unclean animals. You can't be yoked together. So he's a God of structure and order. Remember, sometimes when we read things, I always ask myself, why is he saying that for? What's the purpose in saying that? When he set them on the ark, 2 by 2, the clean with the clean, the unclean with the unclean. Do you put your dirty socks with your clean socks? No. I hope. One foot be smell like salt and vinegar. Hey, shalom, officer. Most High Christ bless. All right, good. Let's go back, and we ain't gonna finish this chapter today. We go back. Deuteronomy 22. I'm still trying to get to this vagabond guy, but Lord's spare life. We'll pick it up next week. Well, that was 11. Let's read the ox together. Verse 11, 22 and 11.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 11. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. Thou shalt make thee fringes.
No, so let's deal with that one more time. Go. I want you to give me. Oh, I apologize. Give me pulling the woman. 2 Kings 3 verse 4. Explain what Officer Ari didn't understand. He thought, wait a second, Ari. Boy, I tell you. He said wool came from the ground. I'm like, boy, I tell you, this generation, boy, grew up on PlayStation. They don't know. Even I knew that, and I grew up in a concrete city. But watch this. Here's explain to you so you understand where wool comes from. This is for Ari, right? 2 Kings 3, 4. I want you to read it, Ari, so you let him read it. You read it. Next time somebody asks you a question, please don't say the ground. 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 4.
I cutting on mine. You said
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Book of 2 Kings, chapter 3, verse 4. And Misha, king of Moab, was a sheep master, and rendered unto the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams with the wool.
With the wool. The ram with the wool. Okay, you got that?
Yes, sir, with
This,
the wool.
this mark that in there and
Nah.
highlight it up, all right? This guy killed me. What I wanted. Back to the thought I had about the weaving. Proverbs 31, verse 13, and then we're gonna jump to verse 19.
Said Proverbs 21:13.
31:13, then jump to verse 19.
Proverbs chapter 31, verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. Verse 19. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff.
Let's explain what that. So this is the Proverbs 31 woman that she worked with wool and with linen and the distaff. I want you to go to so y'all can get a visual of that. What it's talking about. Image 2 and 3, or 3 and 2 and 3. Sisters, today I'm telling you something. This is one of our sisters. Zoom in on that. Make it bigger. That's a spindle and distaff in her hand. Listen, back then they didn't sew alone. They actually made the fabric that they sewed. This is like, I don't know about that. About today. She actually made fabric. And she wove together the material to actually make what they end up sewing. Give me the other one, the more modern one. Y'all weren't about sewing on fringes. They said, make me a garment. You had to go out there and go shear this sheep, clean it. That's one of our foremothers right there. Actually, with a spindle and distaff. That's a more modern one where it's on a wheel. And she actually fabricated the fabric to make the clothing. Whole different time. All y'all have to do is go to Joann's. Y'all complaining. Imagine how much linseed you would have to pick to make a linen garment. Imagine that. How much wool, how much, go catch that. You understand what it is to go grab a sheep and try to hold it down, and you didn't have no clippers. You had to shear it to go make clothes. That's when it said the woman had strength in their arms. Now that's a job. All right, let's go back. Let's knock this down. I'm moving real slow today. Deuteronomy 22, verse 12.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 12. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself.
So you made fringes. What was the purpose of having fringes? That you might remember the commandments of God. You would learn how to deal with your neighbor. You can't cross-dress. You can't take the animals and the eggs together. You can't sow your land, you with a diverse seed. You can't intermingle cattle. All these things are what the other nations are doing. Now I was going to tell you how to deal with your wife. Watch this. 13.
Verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her,
have sex with her,
and hate her,
damn you a demon,
and give occasions.
Stop. You took a woman, you had sex with her, and after you had sex, you hate her. That's why Moses said, man, God said, for the hardness of your heart, Christ said, I should say. He said, in the beginning was not so. Because a man he have all eyes for that woman right until you have sex with her, and he's like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I don't want you. Damn you evil as hell. You are evil as hell. Sorry. Read that verse again.
If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her.
And hate her. You a murderer. She's good enough to have sex with, but now you don't like her. Read on.
And give occasions of speech against her.
You know what occasion of speech against her? Let's see what it's talking about. Read on.
And bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid.
You know what that is? You took her, you slept with her, and then you say, you know what? I hate her so much that I'm going to bear false witness against her. Let me help you all understand. This is counterproductive to building a nation. Just saying, it doesn't work like that. You take the woman, you sex her, and then you're like, I don't want her so much, I'm going to lie and said she was not a virgin when I met her. Read on.
Verse 15. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he have given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you.
So listen to what it's saying here. A man took a woman, had sex with her, and hated her. And he hated so much that he's going to lie and say she wasn't a damsel, she wasn't a virgin, to the point that if they cannot produce the tokens of virginity, she gets put to death. Damn, that's a level of hatred, to be willing to see somebody die just to get rid of them. Guys, if we're like that, we will not build back a nation. We will not build a nation. But I'm going to show you that God, the Most High God, oh boy, I'm trying to find the right words. He has such a sense of humor on how he deals with us. And then I'm going to give you the precepts. So the judgment for her, if her papers weren't found, the token of her virginity, what was the punishment for her? And if it was found, what was the punishment for him? What you said? I didn't hear you. Okay. And what else? Okay, I got a whole bunch of. If she's found to be not a virgin, she gets death. And what is his punishment? Huh? Is somebody going to answer me? It's okay, just answer. Somebody, it's like everybody's looking at me.
Shalom. Yeah, he had to pay the shekels. He had to pay the shekels, and he couldn't put that woman away.
No, they beat him. Then he had to pay. But more importantly, he couldn't put her away. Now, wouldn't the judgment be death for death? Wasn't the men that's trying to lie against Susanna, judgment for them was death, right? God said, I'm going to fix you. Nah, we ain't killing you, Negro. We keeping you alive for a bit. You got to live with this. Understand, I want you, now this is how my mind works. Imagine the amount of shame you brought upon that woman, upon her father and mother, that they got to come out to the whole city, put out the bloody sheets to show all the elders, everybody in the city talking about it. Oh, yeah, Gertrude was a whore. I don't know why I use the name Gertrude, but that's whatever. Sound old, Anyway, you know the point I'm making. You know the embarrassment that this young woman got to suffer. That everybody, look, that's the blood that came from her. Everybody see. That was something that was private, put away in case, that's for safekeeping in case it come out. Now everybody's saying, yo, this man is saying she's a whore. She got to stand before everybody and embarrass. God said, I'm going to fix you, man. I'm going to beat you. Then I'm going to touch your pockets. And then you're not going to put her away. Now imagine her. You don't think how you think she going to feel? I'm asking, what do you think she going to feel? She's like, damn, I'm stuck with this man. This man called me a whore and lied. You think God ain't a fair judge? Oh, no, he got something for you. Watch this now. Hold on one second. Watch this. Go to Proverbs 25. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, she got to go home to this man. This man was trying to get her killed. You know he her enemy, right? God said, now you can't put her away. But don't think you're going to go unscathed. Proverbs 25:18.
Proverbs chapter 25, verse 18. A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul, and a sword, and a sharp arrow.
You know what a maul is? Anybody knows what that is? Anybody? Got it right there, Joshua. I'm listening.
Shalom, Bishop. Most on Christ bless. I do know to get mauled by a bear means to get ripped to shreds.
Okay,
like
what is? Anybody know what a maul is? Go ahead, officer.
It's like a morning star, which it has a round ball with spikes coming out, but instead of a chain, it has a handle. So
Yeah, it's like a hammer.
it's like a hammer. Yes,
Right,
sir.
right, very good. It says, what? Read it again.
A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul, and a sword, and a sharp arrow.
It says, a man that bear false witness, you're trying to destroy that person. Now, what is God going to do to a person that's doing that? Proverbs 19, verse 5.
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 5. A false witness shall not be unpunished.
Don't think a false witness is not going to go unpunished. Read on.
And he that speaketh lies shall not escape.
Don't think he's going to escape. God will put that man to death. So here's the point. The man lied, right? On her. For her, she would have died. God said, now the judgment, beat him, make him pay the money he can't put away. Still seemed kind of unequal, like damn. She got to live with that. God said, don't think he's going to go unpunished. God ended up putting him to death and freeing her that she can get remarried. So, Sidewa brothers, don't be dealing unjustly with your woman. And sisters, there's a God in heaven. Ask Abigail. She went out there, saved her husband's life, that fool. Said, that's my obligation to that man. And turned around and married David. She got up, she came off. She went from that fool to a king. Damn, don't think. So today, sisters, don't make your release on your husband be Facebook and trying to get him out. Go to God. God hears. Hopefully he'll get right. But if he don't get right, God will punish him. Read that verse one more time.
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 5. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape.
He's not going to escape. God is a God of judgment, righteous judgment. You trying to get her killed? God's like, I got something for you. I'm going to fix you. Okay, you had something you want to say?
Yes, sir. Very quickly, if they killed him, then she would have to move back with her father and be a burden to him, which wouldn't be fair. Right. So that there's also that to be taken into account too.
Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
But she'll be free to remarry. You know, she walk around She'd be free to remarry. I don't want to go into all that. Deuteronomy 22. I'll leave that alone right now. Okay. So let's go back. Deuteronomy 22, verse 13 real quick. I'm going to run through these precepts.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her.
You know why he hate her? Tobit 8 and 7.
Tobit chapter 8, verse 7. And now, O Lord, I take not this, my sister, for lust, but uprightly. Therefore, mercifully ordain that we may become aged together.
So that's the whole thing. You take a wife uprightly, not just for lust, that you mercifully ordain that we can become aged together. Now, what does all this have to do with nation building? Because the whole thing we're talking about was that when we're in rulership, we're going to deal right with the cattle, with each other, our brothers. We're going to deal right with our wife. Why? It's not only about lust. Why is that? Malachi 2:15. I want to wrap this up. 2:15.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 15. And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed.
That he may what?
Seek a godly seed.
That he might seek a godly seed. Read on.
Therefore, take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth.
That's why you deal treacherously against the wife of your youth. God, the reason why he gave you her, because God wants to seek a godly seed, is about nation building. You don't take her out of lust, that you could become aged together, that you could bring forth godly children, that they might inherit the earth. That's his whole purpose. Read the verse before that, please.
Verse 14. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously.
Right, you had sex with her, you want to get rid of her. That's why God said, listen, hold this real quick. Give me Matthew 19, for the hardness of your heart. This is why.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 8. He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so.
He says, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you, allowed you to put away your wife. But from the beginning, it was not so. What is the hardness of your heart? Let this go. Hold what I have you hold in Malachi. Go to Colossians 3. 3:19.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 19. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them.
Read on.
Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Lord.
Now, why did I think I read that together? It says, husband, love your wives, and be not bitter against them. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well and pleasing unto the Lord. Verse 21.
Verse 21. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger.
Okay, how do you provoke your children to anger? Read on.
Lest they be discouraged.
How do you provoke your children to anger? You do not apply the laws of God. You don't instruct them. It said, husbands, be not bitter against your wife. Children, obey your parents. The point in you dealing treacherously with your wife is out of order, because God brought you together to seek a godly seed. He said, I'm going to take you who are less in number and make you the greatest nation, where you will outnumber the sands of the sea. But there's one component you must have to govern this earth. You must be keeping the commandments. If you do that, the trees are going to be in order. The animals are going to be in order. You're going to be in order with your brother. Your nation, with your wife, you're going to be in order. You're going to bring forth godly seed that they may inherit the earth. It's one trickle-down thought. But if you dudes want to wear dresses and you women pants, you can't build a nation if you're all homos and lesbians. It doesn't work. If you take the egg and the bird, you're not going to have no food. It's going to get extinct. If you mix seed after I told you they were good, and you do it, you're going to defile the land, and your seed is going to get defiled. Simple. If you deal treacherous with your brother and don't give him back his property, he's going to hate you. It's not going to work. God said, my laws is the reason why that's the only way we can rule this earth. We have to use God's laws. And guess what? The vagabond rolling the earth today can never do it because the laws was never given to him. That's why the earth is polluted. That's why you have extinct animals. That's why you got gays and lesbians running around this earth today, running things. That's why we rob each other in the streets, because we have a covetous spirit, gang banging, shooting. Why? God's laws are not being applied, plain and simple. There's no marvel behind it. Back to Malachi.
Verse 14?
Sure.
15. Malachi chapter 2, verse 14. Yet you say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion, and the wife of thy covenant.
Damn, you deal wrong with her, yet she's thy companion, and the wife of thy covenant. You made a covenant with her. Read on.
And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed.
That he can seek what?
A godly seed.
That's the whole purpose why God told you. He said, I want you to give me some godly seeds. So you better not provoke your children to wrath. You better not be bitter against your wife. This is not conducive to building back up a nation that I want. Read on.
Therefore, take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth.
He said, you better take heed to your spirit, that you don't deal treacherously. Well, damn, that's treacherous, man. You don't get this. You don't get this. You know, you slept with her. She's a virgin. You defiled her, and now you're trying to get her killed. Damn, you evil as hell. You gonna bring shame to that man? I gave you my. You know, imagine a father. Just imagine asking me. Oh God, they would demote me so quick. Especially if you and I know that I got the, and you did it to me, you wouldn't even make it to the city. I'll be resigning again. I'm telling you, don't ever play. My so-called son-in-law one day, wherever you at, I don't know who you are, I will put, I'm telling you right now, I'll just be IUIC prison. Especially if and you and I know, and I ain't going to nobody. I ain't going to nobody. I will see you. And if you bigger than, no, let me stop talking. Say some unadvised. Lord forgive me. I mean it, but Lord forgive me. Imagine you trying to play me like that, and I got the sheets, and I'm looking at you like, you wicked. Oh, no. And they ain't going to fly. I'm upset now. This not even happened to me. I'm upset. My pressure, you see how my pressure like is going up. So what you trying to say? Nigga, you sure you want to go this route? Can I hold him? Where'd I leave off at? Verse 16.
Verse 16. For the Lord, the God of Israel, said that he hated putting away, for one covered violence with his garment.
That's you covering violence with your garment. You what? You trying to kill this person. Read on.
For one covered violence with his garment, said the Lord of hosts. Therefore, take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously.
Now watch this. I want you to read the last precept in 14. Sidebar. If you ever try, whoever I do, I tell you something. If I'm too old, I got enough sons. I'm telling you, I'll bail all of them out. I'll have enough sons. I will get you. I'm telling you, I'll get you. Don't ever even your mind think to play me. When you take her Lord, I ain't gonna get involved in that. But if you try to play me, I'm gonna get you. David told me to come out, but before that day told me, I'm gonna get you. Tell you now. Don't even. So whoever that prospective person, I'm not the one. Tell that now. I'm warning you. Warning you now. I hope you're in this truth right now because I'm warning you. Hold, I don't care if I'm in a wheelchair. Hold him. I'm going to get that can. I'm going to crack you right across your head. Okay, I want the last part of that precept, 14. And the wife of thy covenant.
Yet is she thy companion, and the wife of thy covenant.
The wife of thy covenant. Watch this. Sirach 36:24. We're going to wrap this up right now. There'll be no deacon, no bishops going to tell you it ain't going to work. I'm telling you. I'll just step down. I'll be a member. I'll be a black shirt.
Sirach, chapter 26, verse 24.
I'm just joking. No, I'm not. 36. You know what I'm on.
36, 24. Excuse me. Sirach, chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession.
You made a covenant with this woman. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. Read on.
A help like unto himself.
A help just like him. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. You know what it means to begin a possession? You begin to, when you take a wife, now you are beginning to now take control and lead. You are meant to be a leader. That's what we are meant, men. We're not meant to be followers. We're being groomed to be leaders. And it begins at home. You get a wife, you begin to take a possession. Build your possession. Build your house. In your house, you're going to rule over your wife and your children. And if you can't rule them, how can you rule the house of God? See how it all goes together? That's when you begin to start. That's when you start laying down law. Righteous law, not the stupid stuff, real law. All right? I ain't talking about, let me stop. Don't do that. Okay, sidebar, I'm going to say this anyway. I can't stand men that play video games and you in your 30s, 40s, and you sit around playing video games. I know sometimes you're a little fun, but if that's your whole spirit and I look at your debit card and be like, PlayStation, $12.99, and PlayStation, I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like men like that. I don't like video game men. I don't like you. I'm telling you now. Stay away from me. Stay away from my daughter. Don't come around me. That's your thing. Video games and your spurs into that stuff. I don't like you. Care what you do. Dudes be 40 years old sitting around. I know this, sorry. I know the sister for her wedding anniversary. Now this is, when I say this is grown people, long in the tooth. Grown, gray hair grown. For her husband, for the anniversary, she bought him a video game. Like CDs, whatever it was. That was her anniversary gift to him. This dude would sit around, I'm talking about old, on the way to AARP old, and he'd be sitting out playing video games. I'm like, we're not getting at this captivity with these guys. You're a joke. The dude was old, playing video games. Are you serious? Don't even have a TV. That's scary. I don't want to see no video games. Clown. Okay. I know Jada's uncomfortable. I don't care. This ain't nothing to do. This is about me and my peace of mind. I don't give a damn about her shit. I want to be a man. Okay, verse 24.
Sirach chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself.
A help like unto himself. Like you're supposed to be after Christ, she's supposed to be after you. Like you follow your thing, you learn to rule, then she learns how to rule the children underneath her. Read on.
And a pillar of rest.
And pillar of rest. She's supposed to be a place where he can find succor. That means rest. Read on.
Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled.
You are the hedge. Where there's no hedges, no order, no structure, the possession, whatever you're building is spoiled. If you don't have a hedge around your wife, around your children, you be a guide, a protection. If you're a clown, a simp, a weak man, an evil man, your possession is spoiled. Then you wonder why your daughter is on TikTok doing TikTok foolishness, whatever she's doing, whatever. If you wonder why your son is gang banging or getting gang banged, pick which one. Neither one is good. Guess what? Something's wrong with you. You didn't do your job. You failed. Failed. F for the other word. Read on.
Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled. And he that hath no wife will wander up and down mourning.
Right, you don't got in your wife, you want the up and down mourning. Why? You don't got nothing to rule. You're meant to rule. Pit bulls are meant to tear flesh. Lions are meant to tear flesh. Men are meant to rule. You don't got nothing to rule, you walking around doing what? Big loaded gun and nobody to shoot. Nothing to do, you just sitting around. You want a wife, right? Single men? Yes, sir. Damn, only one in here want one. The rest of y'all, yeah. He was like, I want one. That's like a cry for help. I want one. Yeah. Mayday, sisters out there. We got a brother in distress. He's looking for a wife. So, crying to the Lord, boy, just now. All right. I'll read on.
Verse 26. Who will trust a thief well appointed, that skippeth from city to city.
You can't trust a thief well appointed because he jumped from town to town. He got nothing to play. He had no certain dwelling place. He's out. He robbed here in San Antonio. He's in Houston. You go from Houston, it don't matter. He got nothing to live for. Read on.
So, who will believe a man that hath no house, and lodgeth wheresoever the night taketh him?
So what it says, who gonna believe a man that don't have no certain, he's like a vagabond, no place to go. Nothing. So what is it trying to tell about a man? A man take a wife, and not, mind you, we know some men are not going to be appointed to wives in this kingdom because they're meant to be a eunuch. That's mean God has made you like that, not that you can't find one, because men burn. Here's a point. The whole point behind me saying it was that men, you are fashioned after God to rule. That's how you were meant to be. And you get practice at home. When you get a wife, you begin at your possession. Until you men get wives, you don't fully understand what it means to rule something. Not saying that you can't rule without a wife, but you get your practice at home when you tell your wife, I need you to take care of this. I'm doing this right now. Tell my sons do this. Then when you come into a larger body of Christ, you're able to give instruction. You have experience. You understand that? Man was made to rule. He was made after God's image. God rules. Christ rules. We're meant to rule. Rule what? He gave us dominion over this earth to rule it. All right, so let's go back. I can't get to the vagabond part of this stuff yet. We'll stop here today. Because if I start now, it's a few more minutes. It's going to take too long. It's going to leave it. I pray you all got something from today's class. Lord's willing. Oh, 1 second. Listen. Lord's willing, we will pick up if life lasts next week, and I promise you I'll get to the vagabond part about these other nations, all right? With that, stay tuned. Bishop Nathaniel is coming up in a few. Stay strong. Those online, visit us at israelunite.org. You can find us on YouTube. We have classes 3 times a day, 7 days a week. There are thousands of videos you can get edified out. And more importantly, we are the children of Israel, God's chosen, you so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, and we must keep the laws, all right? And the faith in Christ. Stay strong.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.